Ladies and gentlemen, our Geek and Geekettes, we have with us, you've probably heard his voice if you've heard any of the Black Widow trailers, Creed 2. He's also done a lot of voice work for the TV spots for the Today Show, Pose, the series, Madam Secretary, and he's also been done a lot of voice acting work for some of my favorite TV shows. One in particular, One Piece, Straw Hat Pirates for Life. And also, he is the voice of the first black dope superhero on the My Hero Academia TV show. Rock Lock, ladies and gentlemen, we have with us Gabe Kunda.
Hello.
How are you, Gabe? You have joined
I'm good.
us.
Can't complain.
Oh, glad. Well, you have joined us on Geeked Up. I'm Gamma Ray, joined by my dope co-host.
Hi, I'm DJ Young Venom. Just trying to stay safe.
Aren't we all?
Oh, man. So, yeah, Gabe, kind of tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I guess kind of got into the voiceover world from Dallas, Texas, born and raised. Then I went to Mansfield High School here in Dallas and kind of grew up. Normal lifestyles, huge music head, grew up in the music world, did a lot of like singing choirs and just doing a lot of like background singing and stuff like that, and just kind of vocal arranging and all that kind of stuff. So really into music heavily. And voiceover didn't really come up, I guess, in the picture up until my sophomore year of high school. And this was about 2010, 2011. And I was going through like, our class was doing this kind of a read-along thing in biology where they were just kind of like one person reads one thing and the next person reads another passage and it kind of goes on. And I was kind of like, man, this is so boring, like how people are reading. I was like, I wonder if I could read it any different, if I could add some, some like James Earl Jones feel to it. And mind you, I'm like, my voice is nowhere near James Earl Jones as a sophomore in high school. I was just kind of like, I was bored with just kind of how people were reading.
Right.
And I was like, okay. So they called on, my teacher was like, okay, Gabe, it's your turn to read the passage. And then, I started thinking, okay, what am I going to do? And I was like, okay, the organism is green. Just start kind of doing my own thing and trying to make it like more movie trailer-ish. And I was doing that for, I'd say maybe, actually, I was like, people told me to read all the time. And so she told me at the end of the year, she was like, man, like, you have a really nice voice and you should think about like getting into radio broadcasting. I was like, or she said radio. And then she said, you should also do the announcements for school. And I was like, I'll look into it. And I signed up to do the announcements for school, and you have to audition for it or whatever. They don't just like let any kid go up there and just do whatever. But like, I signed up for it, and I was like, okay, well, I need to get research on how to do announcing, like what is announcing, what all that stuff. And so I went online and I started looking at videos of announcers and stuff. And I was like, first of all, I was already kind of taken aback that this was a world, like announcing was a world, like voiceover, all that stuff is like an actual world. I was like, well, this is great. This is amazing. And then I finally landed on this video called $1 Million Voices. Mm-hmm. And I recommend anybody checking that out if you're interested in voiceover, just kind of like what that life is like. And that video single-handedly changed my life. I mean, I saw the video and I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Like, I want to do like the movie trailers. I want to do like narration. I want to do commercials. Like, that's it. And I want to use my voice. And so by that time, I already knew what I was going for. Like, I wanted to be in voiceover. So got through. I did the announcing gig, the audition. I got it. And they were like, okay. So I was doing the announcements for school. And then I got into radio broadcasting. And I just kind of started doing everything I could with my voice, just trying to use it in any facet I could. As the years went by, my senior year of high school, I was like, okay, well, what do I need to do? Do I go for voiceover full time, or do I go the choir route? Which is not really a degree for choir, but there is a degree to teach choir, music education. And I was like, well, if I want to be in that world, I have to have a degree to teach.
Right.
I don't need a degree to do voiceover. So I auditioned for a music scholarship, got a lot of money for it, and I just went that direction. And so I went down the teacher route, and I thought to myself, I said, you know what, if all else fails, I have something to fall back. Like if I don't want to teach anymore, I can go down this voiceover route, and if that fails, then I can come back to teaching. So did that, went through 4 years of college, and at the same time I was going for this degree, I was doing like little small voiceover jobs, like, you know, one place here, like some churches and some just other little one-off gigs and just mom and pop shops.
All right.
And then I was like, okay, well, I need to bump it up. I need to get signed to an agency, you know. And so I started doing a lot of impression videos on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and those started to get like a lot of views, and people just started kind of noticing who I am. Tyrese Gibson actually reposted one of my videos, and
cool.
and like Gladys Knight, you know, reposted one of my videos, and like practically begged Disney to put me in and stuff. Like it was crazy.
How did that feel? Were you like,
oh my gosh. It was because it was during the summer, and so I'm like in like summer school trying to get my credit so I can get out of this, you know, university. And I get my phone is blowing up. I mean, blowing up. I've never seen it do that. And I pick up the phone to my friend Darius, and he's like, dude, Tyrese Gibson just shared your video and it's going nuts. I'm like, wait, what? And then I go on there, and I'm like, I'm looking, I'm like, oh my gosh. And it was just, I can't really explain that. And then like following after Gladys Knight was posting it, and it was getting so much love. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. You know, people are, you know, loving what I'm doing. So I think this is a path for me to take. So
that's
that was
so cool.
That was incredible.
Oh, that's so cool.
But yeah, so I mean, to continue like the story, I was like, I kind of went through college doing the VO stuff on the side, and then it wasn't up until my senior year that I made a voiceover demo, sent it to an agent, one of my dream agencies, by the way, Atlas Talent, and they signed me, and it was kind of like they heard it, and they were like, yo, you sound pretty good, and so we'll bring you on. And so I signed on. And then, mind you, that was my senior year of college. So then my parents, who were African, by the way, were like, so what are you going to do? You got this degree. Are you going to go, you know, are you going to go teach music and be an upstanding citizen in the society? Or are you going to do this voiceover crap that you're talking about? And so I was like, well, I just got signed. And maybe if I do it a little bit more, couple more weeks, I can kind of, you know, make some money out of it. So I didn't know what was going to happen. And after a couple of weeks, I booked this big campaign for Spike TV, and I was doing a lot of their shows and stuff like that. And I like got a check. I forget what the number was, but I got a real big check, and it was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you could get paid this much for voiceover. I was like, yo, I've never in my life, I don't even think my parents have gotten this much money at one time.
Oh,
so, yeah, and I was good with my voice, and so I went to my parents. I was like, look, I got paid this much. And they were like, oh, you didn't have to sell drugs? Okay. Well, you know, you come, go ahead and let's see what happens. So they encouraged me to kind of put teaching on the back burner. Like, so finish school, but you don't have to go straight into teaching. Just go do voiceover and see what happens in that realm, which is a huge thing in the African household. Like, they will just, they don't want you, either want you to be a doctor, lawyer, or whatever. So for them to say, go follow the arts, and then if it fails, you know, it's huge. So
yeah,
that's what I did. And yeah, exactly. And that's what I did. And I haven't turned back since. Like, I've been doing this for 3 years. It's going to be 3 years. I've been doing it full time.
And you have great work behind your name. Like, when I looked online, I was like,
thank you.
I didn't even realize. I was like, yes, that was his voice for that. And then I was like, oh my gosh. You know, just really realizing like, just how, I mean, across all different type of fandoms and platforms, you've done incredible work. So
thank you so much. It's really been an honor. Like a lot of the stuff that I've been getting to do these days, and like, I mean, even down to the anime stuff, like it's crazy. Like, I never think I would get to this point where I'm actually like doing this. Like, I thought it'd be a lot like years down the road, like 10 years down the road, where I could do this full time. But it kind of came lightning speed. So it's an honor for sure.
Did you have an agent to help you like get these gigs, or do you just see like open call auditions and just audition?
So yeah, my agent Atlas that I signed with, they're the one that they get the auditions from said casting director, whether it be Disney, DreamWorks, or whatever. They get the auditions and then they send them to me, and that's how I get the chance to kind of, go for these stuff.
Okay.
That's been kind of the norm. Now, sometimes there are situations where on social media, someone will reach out to me and say, "Hey, like I've got a project I want you to work on," and I'll hop on that way. And sometimes, or I'll pass it to my agent and say, "Hey, could you guys facilitate the contract side of things?" But for the most part, my agents kind of handle the auditioning.
Okay, cool.
So when you are given like a character, who determines how they sound? Is that like a collaboration effort between you and like the company, or they just kind of give you a bio of the character and you just kind of embody it yourself?
That's a good question. So it's a kind of a both kind of ways. The first, like when you get an audition, they'll send you sometimes they'll send you a picture of what the character's going to look like, and then on the side they'll put this is a description of character, age, height, weight, all that kind of stuff, and we want him to feel kind of fat or maybe skinny, kind of geeky or something like that. They'll give you a description, and then at that point, it's up to you to bring that to life. Now, you get the kind of choice of like what kind of voice palette and where you want to go with this character. But what I sometimes do is kind of stick to what they've like provided as far as like this is what we're looking for, voice wise or tone wise, and I'll do that as a first take. And my second take will be something completely different. Like I'll do something that I just come up with my head, and I've noticed that that is the time that they book it. Like they'll book the second choice that I gave them, with just kind of the freedom, like me just taking a chance on the character on what I think it should sound like or look like. So it's a collaboration for sure. Sometimes you'll audition and they'll book you and you'll get in there and they'll say, "Hey, so we loved your audition. We just want to take you a completely different direction because maybe the studio changed the like direction of the show or the direction of the character." And so they're going to want to mold you in a different way. That's what's really good to be kind of mendable. But yeah, that's kind of how it works. It's kind of like a both collaborative thing.
Okay. So what was it like when you got that, whether it's, phone call or email or text, that you will be on My Hero Academia voicing
Oh my gosh.
first Black superhero on the show?
Well, see, it's funny because My Hero, I knew about it. I didn't know how big it was. I knew that like it was kind of like the thing, like versus like for me, the thing in my it's sad to say heyday, I guess, was Dragon Ball. Like Dragon Ball, Naruto, like those were like, that's the thing. So for my little brother, who is a sophomore in high school, his thing is My Hero. My Hero is his Dragon Ball. So I was kind of like, oh, okay, this is what it is. So when I got the audition, I didn't know that it was for My Hero. They didn't put a name on it. They just showed me the character, and I was like, oh, a Black dude, dope. I was like, this is cool. Like seeing like people of color in anime, period. Like it's like, wow, amazing. So
yes.
I was like, yo, okay, I'm gonna try for it. So I got a description of what he looked like. He's kind of like snarky a little bit. He is real arrogant, kind of a little rude, whatever. He kind of interjects himself and whatever. And he's not too nice to Deku. So I was kind of like, okay, I could do that. So I just gave it my best shot. I sent it in, and I didn't hear anything back for 3 weeks. And mind you, I didn't know that it was My Hero. So like, it didn't matter to me that I didn't hear anything back. That makes sense. Like if it was like a Disney movie, I would have been like, oh my God, did I get it? Like, but I didn't know. So, and then I got a call like 3 weeks later saying, hey, so they want to bring you, Colleen wants to bring you in for My Hero. And I was like, oh shoot, like what? And it's like, this is a character in My Hero. And so I went to go watch like maybe the first season, like all the seasons, and try to see like where this show is at, like what is the feel of the show. And I'm like, yo, is this it? This is like the first, because I hadn't seen another Black guy in it. So I was like, this is the first Black dude in the show. And so I was like, oh my God, and immediately I felt like this pressure of like, bro, you better represent, because
you represent for everybody.
Yeah. So I was like, oh God. Now I went in there and Colleen showed me the character and some animatics of it. And I was like, yo, okay. I think I told her, I was like, okay, I think we should probably go I want this guy to feel real. I want him to feel like you're talking, like it's just, yeah, maybe your older brother or like a dude who is just kind of too realistic and not. We kind of both decided that it'd be good that he doesn't feel like, super anime-ish, that he feels down to earth. And so we just went for it, and we did it. I think I read it multiple times. I don't remember how many times, but we had to read it over and over again just to make sure the voice set in and it settled and it felt good. And I think a couple weeks later it aired, and I forgot that it aired as well. And I got like a huge response from it, and it was, oh man, to this day I still get a lot of appreciation for Rock and what he brings. And so at first it was like, yo, you were mean. Like you were so mean to these kids. But you understand the more you watch on, you understand why he's the way he is.
I mean, I definitely appreciate, I preach this all the time. Representation is key. It's important. It matters even on the scale of an animated series, seeing someone that looks like us, that, is accurate and not over the top, some stereotype type of character, because they've definitely done us wrong in a couple of shows back in the day, but I see they're trying to do better. So I was very appreciative of seeing that with your character.
They really are. And I'm noticing that like the more like hype people are about that kind of stuff, like the more that that they like creators are trying to implement people of color like more and more, because they're realizing that, wait, this is actually resonating with somebody, and he doesn't look like me, it's like there is an audience there that is wanting that representation, and they're like, okay, let's start writing these people of color. Let's start, drawing them. Let's start adding, even on the casting side of things. Like Colleen's the one who casted me on the show. She could have picked somebody else, who did look like me or sound like me or whatever the deal is. And, maybe they still would have been like, people still would have been like excited. I don't think I necessarily like, I don't know how much I brought to it, but I do know that it meant something to somebody. My little brother is like, if you go on YouTube videos of Rock, my little brother is like commenting under the videos like, that's my brother, that's my brother. It's so cute, awesome. But, and it's good to know that I'm influencing somebody, so it's great.
That's so dope. So what if you could pick a quirk? What would your quirk be?
Ooh, like my own quirk.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I think it would be I said this a lot, but like teleportation would be my biggest thing.
Right.
Like I just hate being late. That's my thing. And like, I just wish that I could, because of the traffic here in Dallas, and it's way worse in LA, but I just wish I could just kind of snap my fingers and I'm immediately there. Immediately. Like, and I could just, and also be able to be two places at one time.
That would be a very dope quirk. I don't blame you for wanting to have that, especially living out in Dallas, because y'all's traffic is insane. I mean, we're just around here in Mississippi. We don't have too bad, but if I'm sitting in traffic for over like 20 minutes, like that's too long for me.
It's a problem. It's a problem. So I'm trying to get where I need to go, especially with some of these sessions. Like I live in Funimation. I live about 40 minutes away from Funimation. But I get there in 35 and 30. Don't ask me how. But but like, so I'm always trying to like, just get there, and without fail, there's always like a conglomerate of traffic. Just so yeah, that would definitely be my quirk.
Okay. So I have a question. Like, are you into manga or anime at all? I know you were into Dragon Ball Z and Naruto, and My Hero Academia is like pretty huge, and it's kind of crazy for you to be in the industry and not hear about it. So I know you've been busy with a lot of other gigs and stuff, but are you reading anything currently, probably new or anything, or trying to keep up with anything, just in case you may see a character like, oh, I should like, when they try to bring this over, I should try to like get on top of that.
Yeah. So I mean, it's weird. Like I knew of My Hero, but it wasn't in concern of the character, I didn't like they hid the names and everything. I think they just didn't want nobody to be like, yo, there's gonna be a black dude in the, which at that point I think everybody already knew because of the manga. But
Yeah.
I think the manga for sure, like I've actually started to read. I'm starting to read that one in particular now because I'm like, I'm interested to see what's going to happen. This season is what do I want to say? I don't want to.
Yeah, Rachel doesn't read the manga, so I read
So
the manga. I know what's happening already.
I about to say, but feel
so
free to spill the tea.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't want to say anything about this season that we're in right now because it might give away something that I'm not supposed to say. But
we'll keep it secret.
I needed to know. Huh?
I said we'll keep your secret.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
It may cost y'all a podcast. I ain't trying to do it to you. So I'm reading on just because I wanted to see how like it all kind of ends in a sense. So like I have been keeping it up, and I will say, somebody who I am really excited for, he kind of has, she is kind of like a bunny ears. I think you may know who I'm talking about. But I mean, Mirko, her name, that's her name.
Yeah.
But I am so excited. And so I had to, because I was seeing her pictures and everything like that, and I was like, okay, so I need to read this stuff. So I'm reading and going back and catching up and everything. I'm like, yo, this is about to be crazy. When all this is animated, it's going to be nuts. And I think also I wanted to know if I, everybody, once you get into a character, you're just kind of like, do I make it? Like, am I still alive? Like in the rest of the season? And so I needed to kind of figure that out for myself. And
yeah, how long do you have a job?
yeah, pretty much, especially in that show. So I've been reading that, and I'm trying to catch up on One Piece, but that thing is like I think I'm about to give up, man.
No,
I can't.
Don't stay on the journey. It's worth it.
Is it?
It is. Straw Hat Pirates, man. I love me some One Piece.
It's worth it, but I'm not gonna force it on you.
I will, because Luffy is bad. I am obsessed. I love it. There is no greater anime.
Yeah, it's great. I think just recording the episodes, every time I see when we're recording the show and I see which episode that we're on versus what episodes are already dubbed, I'm like, we will never, ever, ever catch up. Like I just don't see us. I don't see us doing that. So
I think the dub is 2 years behind.
Yeah.
The dub is 2 years behind. The manga, actually, the anime in Japan has caught up to the manga, so it's kind of an interesting point right now. But the mangaka said he has like 3 more years left, and then he's done. And he's done. So probably you got another 7 years of One Piece dub. 7 to 8 years, depending on the work rate y'all go through.
Well, I guess we'll have a job, but I mean, it's and also like looking at the cast list of like it's an all studio endeavor for the One Piece. Like everybody's working on it. Every voice actor is working on that because we just don't have enough people, to just be like, okay, we're just gonna have 3 people or 4 people working on the show. Like everybody's doing everything from background voices to Walla to when I say Walla, do you guys know what Walla is?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's like Walla and all that kind of stuff. So like it's a family endeavor on that thing. And I also forgot to mention I'm starting to read Dr. Stone as well. I'm enjoying that one.
Yeah, Dr. Stone is really good. It's kind of Dr. Stone is kind of appropriate for the time that we're going through right now.
Real talk.
No kidding.
Like it's like, the first thing we gotta do is make soap, and it's like soap. Like soap.
I just want to see attempt making the Coca-Cola. I feel like there will be quite a few people trying to do that experiment as well. I had some of my favorite cosplays from Dr. Stone.
Really?
Suika and Suzuka. I like
okay.
Definitely like adding my little black girl magic twist too with the curly hair or the locks. So yeah. Well, speaking of cosplay, do you think you would ever jump into the world of cosplay? I mean, you voice a lot of characters that, you attend any kind of con. I'm pretty sure you've seen a lot of people in cosplay from shows you voiced or even the characters you voiced.
Yeah, I don't. I think I more and more every day. I am starting to think that I should go as Rock Lock just because
You
people keep telling me
should.
like, yeah, people keep telling me like, you look like Rock Lock, you look, and I'm like, man, should I? Like my friend Brandon McInnes, he plays Sir Night Eye, and he dresses up as Sir Night Eye, and I mean, he does a really good job. It's really cool because he dressed up. That I mean, he sounds like him, so it's kind of like I remember there was one thing where they was kind of like, man, you look and sound too much like him, so we may need you to chill out on that, like the team. And so I was like, but I think it'd be dope. I may do that with it. BlurCon is coming up,
Yeah.
and I may do that. Well, that's if the Rona don't have it
Right.
You said
yet.
BlurCon? Oh yeah, I don't think that was gonna happen.
If not, hopefully it'll just
Yeah.
get pushed back, if anything. But I think you would definitely shut the internet down if you did a Rock Lock cosplay. That would be so dope. I'd be excited to see
I
that.
really, I think I've seen maybe 3 people dressed up as Rock Lock, and one of them I saw was like, "Yo, yes, spot on, dude. Like you look like the walking Rock Lock." But no, I mean, that's the one I have been thinking about cosplaying as. I just don't know how to like create the stuff, and and I don't want to do it wrong, and people be
There is no
screenshot me and put me
wrong.
on Instagram.
There is no wrong in cosplay.
It's
I'll
a
help you
wrong.
out. I got you.
It's a wrong in cosplay. I try to tell Rachel, but she don't listen.
Well, I mean, I definitely probably have done some things wrong, but you know what? I do it for fun, so who cares?
She have you out here looking bad, man.
I
Don't listen
wouldn't.
to her.
Now, first of all, I ain't gonna do my boy Gabe like that. I wouldn't have him out here looking crazy.
Hey, I appreciate it. I trust you. I trust you.
So speaking of cons, you mentioned BlurCon, Lord willing with the corona and everything, it would just get pushed back or whatnot. But
Right.
what was it like attending your first Comic-Con? Like what was your first one you attended and what was that experience like?
My first Comic-Con was My Hero Con, and that was on my birthday, January 31st, last month, or 2 months ago, rather. Yeah, it was my first con, and I've been to cons. I've attended cons, a couple of them with my wife, and we've gone to them, but like I've never like been as like a guest, and so that was insane. I just didn't know, like, you then realize how many people know your work inside and out. Like, some people come up to me talking about stuff that I was like, oh, I didn't know that, like, you went all the way back there in 2015 to find that thing that I did. Like, I just didn't, the people are watching, but it was amazing to see people that were touched by the work that I've done in some way. And just, they were very excited about the show. And also people that follow my blogs on Instagram that I make and stuff. And it was amazing. Like, it really was a time to meet the, friends, because they are, in the sense, I mean, they comment and they show love all the time. And yeah, it was just incredible. I could not. It was a great way to spend a birthday, honestly. I thought it was going to be like, oh man, my birthday, but I had a blast. I really had a blast.
That's so great to hear. I know I definitely enjoyed when I got to meet you at GalaxyCon in Richmond.
GalaxyCon,
I was
yeah.
like, yo, that's the voice of Rock Clock. I gotta come over
here.
Yes.
Yes. Every time I see my people, I'm hyped. I'm so hyped because it's mutual love. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people, even like the people that don't quite like Rock Life per se, and they just like, yo, I'm just glad we got somebody that looks like us on the screen,
right.
And I'm like, yes, like me too, and I'm getting hyped with them and stuff. And so it was a pleasure seeing you and your friend as well. So I'm hoping that BlurCon comes through so we can, link up again.
Right.
So I don't know what I'm trying to think because Rachel has these pre-done questions, and I like to go off the grid.
Oh my gosh, she's such a rebel.
I am. I'm the Rock Lock of this group, so.
He is.
Oh, okay.
He is. And I'm the Deku, unfortunately.
Yeah, too fucking happy. I have to crush her dreams every once in a while. There is
makes a good thing.
Yeah. So is there, like, I've always wondered this, is there a rivalry between Funimation and Viz? Because I know they don't use like the same voice actors and whatnot, and it's like it feels very different when watching something that's with voiceovers produced by Viz and voiceovers produced by Funimation. Because when my wife watches with me, she was like, "Oh, that's the same voice as such and such." And I'm like, "I don't recognize these voices like that." But she can like clearly hear it. But I'm just like, okay, cool. I'm just like into the anime and stuff like that.
Right. There may be a competition in the sense of like business wise, but I have not heard, and there's maybe a couple of instances where I've heard an actor say, well, I've actually been kind of like held to some type of contract with a certain studio, and so I can't do this project because of this. But for the most part, a lot of the actors are interchangeable. Like they're going to Viz, they're going to Funny, they're going to Crunchyroll, into doing stuff like original content for them. And so like it hasn't been too apparent in the voice acting world. Now in the business side of things, I'm sure there is some type of like just kind of, hey, we're doing kind of the same stuff. But on sort of as far as the voice acting level, we haven't seen as much competition or any pushback or even any backlash for going to go do multiple shows that are crossing, that are like, if I'm going to go do something for Crunchyroll and an animation that they're working on, or Viz, or if I'm doing something for them or whatever. I really haven't seen any backlash from that, which is a good thing, because that means that we can kind of be, versatile in that sense to continue working. And I also think, and I also think, as much as people love new voices, I mean, new voices is great because people are introduced to like, new people are great. But I will say familiarity is still kind of like, is still in the sense king in certain situations. Like if you go and you watch something on Viz and you hear somebody who you're just like, I've heard her like, in this show, and now you hear her again. You like, I think you trust it a little bit more sometimes. Yeah. And then there are situations where it's just kind of like, I want something new. Where are the new people? Yeah. And I think Funimation has done a great job over the last, I think, couple of years. If you notice on the cast list, it's like it's vastly different than what it used to be. I came in 2016. My first show was Non-Baka. And I did that, and like that was a time when they were kind of like revamping and just kind of like, we want to make some new voices in here. We want to bring a new feel, so it's not the same thing over and over again, which I think that's dope.
Okay,
I hope that answers your question, by the way.
No, it has there. I used to do radio, and after that, it was I was a mix show DJ, and after that, I was also with the nonprofit field, and I was doing social media marketing and production and stuff like that. And I remember this one instance with me that happened this one time. They're like, "Yeah, we need somebody to voice over this commercial." And I was like, "Yeah, I can do that. I did radio and everything." They're like, "Oh no, you sound too black." And I'm like, "The fuck?" Like,
what does that even mean?
What does that sound? Yeah, what does black sound like?
Right. So, and I'm like a pretty proper talking black male from Mississippi, so oftentimes they ask me like, "Oh, where are you from?" I'm like, "I'm from here." What the fuck you mean? Like, so has it ever been in the back of your head like about you maybe getting typecasted as to doing only black characters or aliens or monsters or whatever in anime? Because that'd be like an innate fear in mine, like, well, fuck, here's another black character. Let me go on and just knock this shit out and be gruff.
Yeah, I think I'm in a position right now where I'm new enough where these casting directors don't really know what I look like, unless they go and search up Gabe Kunda. Then they'll find me like, hello, black, actually African kid, like they'll find me. But I'm new enough to where like if I audition for something, I can pretty much get away with auditioning for any type of character that I want to, and they won't really necessarily be typecasted. Now I imagine if I was like a Chris Stabit or something like that, then I would be, pegged for a certain type of role. I know that there was this one time that I was, and this is more speaking to that like sounding black thing. One time I was in a session for a commercial that I will not name, but a very big company that I was doing a commercial for, and they wanted me to sound. They wanted urban, and when you see urban on the script, you automatically say, okay, black. They want you to sound black, quote unquote, right? So I'm getting in there and I'm doing my normal spiel. I'm recording my lines, and mind you, there's maybe like eight producers in the room. listening to you read. So it's a very intense thing. Like if you're a voiceover and you're in that situation, you're like, I'm sweating bullets. I just want to perform and do well. They kept having me read this line over and over again. And they're like, it just doesn't sound, it doesn't sound as aggressive as we want it to sound. I'm like, okay,
wow.
Aggressive. And still I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, okay, aggressive. They want this character to be mean, but it didn't say anything of that in the description. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I'm giving it a little bit more and they're like, okay, we just want you to sound like just rough around the edges and just real urban, just real, color it up a little bit. And that's where I stopped it. Yeah. That's where I stopped the session. Thank God I am under SAG-AFTRA, which does a great job of protecting me in case something like that happens. Mm-hmm. But that's when I stopped the session. I was like, okay, I got to get my agent on the line. And they're like, well, now they're confused. And they're just like, yeah, because now I explain to them, you're saying color it up. Like, you're not understanding how that it can be offensive or how that can be you know what I'm saying? Like, why is it that anger and aggressiveness is tied to African Americans? Exactly. Why is that something that's being perpetrated in this spot? And the spot, mind you, it's talking about a vehicle. Like, it's talking about a family vehicle, very warm and loving. And you want me to be aggressive. Now, granted, it's your script. Like, you're the creator, right? So you have something in mind, but you're telling me to be aggressive, color it up, more urban. It's like, what did you want me to sound like? Like, what did you have in your head, right? So anyway, long story short, I got a nice payday.
Win for us.
From that session. We settled stuff like that, but you could even tell the people in the room. There's actually an African-American guy a woman, I'm sorry, that was in the room. And her eyes were literally out of her glasses. Like she was shocked that this was going on, but she couldn't say anything because it was executive producers calling the shots. Right. Yeah. And the one getting up and yeah, just do, come on, just make a little, slur your words a little bit and da-da-da-da-da. And if you see any, you guys know it. You've heard it. You've seen how it goes. And so it's just that times 10. And so you try to do in those situations, you try to be respectful and you explain, this is why this is what you're saying is a little bit on the Mickey Mouse. It's a little wiki-whack. You're sounding crazy. But then you have to say, but hold on, I need to talk to my agent. I need to figure this out because I don't know if I feel comfortable doing this. I don't want to perpetrate this. I don't want to continue showing. I don't want to be the reason why this keeps going on. Right. So then you make things happen, and then you get paid at the end of it because you were in the session. You did the work, and they wasted your time on that. So you got to kind of get compensated for that. But yeah, things happen like that all the time. Now the great thing is even in the movie trailer world of things, if you notice kind of what I do in movie trailers is kind of really diverse. I'm not doing all black films. I'm not doing all white films. Oh, yeah. It's really a mixture of everything, which is really satisfying. So a lot of the movie studios, they're the one that greenlit the voices for the trailer. So anytime you hear rated R, it's 15 executives were sitting around a table and were like, we like that voice, So after a while, they start to know you. Gabe Kunda, they know that last name Kunda is not, Caucasian. They'll go look you up and stuff, and they'll see that they're black. I met some of these executives, and I was a little fearful because I was like, oh, now they know me. They're going to start sending me just all black movies, and they haven't. They know that I've got some versatility there. So that's why I always tell people on their demos and stuff, I say, make sure you are versatile. Don't just give them the it's the all new church chicken. Don't just give them that read. Right. Give them that read and some other colors of what you can do. So so you can be a triple threat and you can be unstoppable and you continue working until the end of time, because you can mold yourself into different facets. So anyway, yeah.
I'm definitely glad to hear that whenever you're placed in a situation you just spoke about where, you're like, hold up, pump the brakes here. I'm not liking the direction it's going, that you're able to speak up. And like you said, you don't want to be the reason why this stuff keeps going on.
No. And you say, and like I said, I gave them the benefit of the doubt. So I did it a couple of times, but it just started coming to a point where it's at that point, like you have to say, okay, let me pump the brakes, and everybody understands. Like,
Right.
yeah, we've been seeing this going for a long time. Like you're not just blowing up out of nowhere. So as long as you just kind of respectful about it, like, listen, like you have the vision in mind that's not quite cutting it. So let me bring my agent into it and let's talk about it. Because at the end of the day, they hired you, and they want your talent and they'll make it work. And mind you, I still did the spot I did the spot for them. We didn't go that direction. But I still did the spot. They still wanted me on it, and they respected my position on how direction that they were trying to give me.
That's dope. Do you have any projects that you're currently working on outside of My Hero Academia or anything else that you have coming up for the year?
That you can talk about without us getting sued.
True.
Oh,
That disclaimer, definitely.
But, yes. Well, I am in a game that's coming out on Stadia called Orcs Must Die 3. And it's going to be kind of being released to other places too here in the next few months as well. And I play a black kid in that, and that's fun because I don't play kids a lot, but I get to play like a young black kid, and he's like kind of the protagonist in this thing. So it's kind of cool. That, and I'm doing a lot of stuff for Marvel. I've got a Marvel game that's coming out, and I play War Machine. And which is really dope, and I get to do a lot of stuff with him, and they've been calling me a lot back for him, and so it's really dope. And just kind of the other stuff that I have to keep tight-lipped about, just because of NDAs. But I've on Borderlands 3 doing a lot of stuff for them currently, and it's just it's a weird, like, even right now, there are games that I'm working on that's going to be coming out, like, or shows I'm working on that's going to be coming out in like 2 years. So it's like, I can't even, like, and they're very exciting games. If I told you guys, we'd be like, yo, but like, I cannot, like, if I said it and it just went on, you guys know what it is. So, but that's kind of like it as far as voiceover wise. Like everything else, like I'm doing Black Widow. I'm working on the Wonder Woman 1984 trailers, and I'm doing Artemis Fowl trailers on that, and on the Today Show, and still doing stuff for WWE. I do a lot of their stuff as well, and it's kind of all around, spread across. Just keep an ear out for me. I'm always around. For sure.
That's so cool.
That's cool. Let me ask you something, and you don't have to answer this. Like I said, we ain't trying to get sued. Rachel's forte is not keeping us from getting sued.
My legal background is strictly in healthcare and insurance.
Yeah, so
no worries.
She's not worth anything to me at the moment of that.
You see how he treats me, Gabe? Just
rock all day. They should have gave the role to you, dude.
Right.
This Marvel game, is it mobile or is it console?
Definitely mobile. It's actually called Marvel Super War.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have mentioned that. Yeah, Marvel Super War. It's mobile, and I play War Machine. They also have some other stuff coming out for that, and I can say that I'm still keeping War Machine as my character because that's all been announced already. But other games are coming down the pipeline with Marvel that you guys just keep an eye out for.
Okay, then.
Or ear out for, rather.
Okay, yeah, it's a big Avengers game coming out, so I didn't know if he was referencing that, but he might be. So we'll see in the coming months.
And we could be like, wow, is that what he was talking about?
Yeah, you'd be surprised.
That's the one that's pretty big on my radar. A lot of people are kind of on it because of the character designs, but I'm like, you can like switch out like your armor and costumes and stuff like that. Square Enix is handling it.
I did get a chance to play around with it. It does seem fun. It does seem fun. I'm interested to see how the public takes it. How they once they get their hands on it.
Yeah.
To this day, my favorite Marvel game. Well, I guess there's a Sony Marvel game. To the PlayStation is Spider-Man.
Of course, yeah.
It's just flawless to me, in my opinion. Anyway. So, keep an ear out.
So, you said you enjoy playing the Spider-Man video game. Are there any other video games that you enjoy to play?
Kingdom Hearts. I just now I'm going to say this, and please forgive me if you are a Kingdom Hearts creator. Wasn't too gung ho about 3. A
lot of fans were.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'm not alone. I've been playing since the first game and all. I played all the games throughout, even to the mobile one. Yes. And the third one, I was kind of like, this is all right. All right, I get it. At least it gives us some type of like, not really finality, but something. So that one, I'm also, oh man, I just downloaded the Final Fantasy remake. Oh gosh, man.
I just need to survive like 2 more weeks. Just need to survive.
Like bro, now I'm kind of bummed out because our GameStop literally just closed, but thank God I pre-ordered it on like digital, so there's a download to my deal. But like, after I got done with the demo, I was like, yo, I need this game right now. And the Square, I'm trying not to get my hopes up too sometimes because Square Enix likes to play around and be like, yeah, it's coming out on this day, and psych, in 2 years, like it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, they've been updating us about that game on Twitter, saying it's still coming out on the 10th. And I actually pre-ordered a hard copy because I wanted the physical art book. Because I'm a big on like art books and stuff. So I don't want a digital art book. That's stupid.
Yeah.
So I may not be able to play it day one. So I'm kind of pissed about that. The GameStop I ordered at is in a county that is full of dumbasses. So
don't know how to
I may still be able to get out.
sanitizer.
Yeah, I'm gonna be out there with gloves in my car. Wait till that line get down. Go in there. My name.
I think that's a game that I don't read. I ain't even judging you on being out there with gloves and stuff. It's just it's just one of them things. And I literally had pre-ordered it, and then the announcement came out that they may not be able to give all like the hard copies and stuff like that. And I was like, whoa, thank God. But I think that is, if I was in a situation like you, I think I'd still be out there low key.
Yeah, it's down the street from my house, so I'm just like, man, I'm seeing.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna be first person there. Just don't touch me.
I'm gonna pull up to the curb and like, go get my game, please, thank you.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, that's the one I am very, very excited for. And then obviously the PlayStation 5. I mean, that's just gonna be another great thing because I'm working on some games that are going to be coming on that system, so I'm excited about that.
Okay.
Oh, that's dope. So, Gabe, can you tell us what are some of your geek obsessions? Like, what makes you a geek?
Okay, geek sessions. Whew. So I think for me, it's actually getting to work with the creator of whatever project it is. I think that is the most like I was able to work the Marvel stuff that I'm doing now. I'm able to work with the actual like the writers on it, like who are writing the actual story. And I think that is the most like for me. I'm just like because I'm able to now just ask them all the questions. Okay, so he gets to do this, that, and third. This is where the story is going. What are y'all thinking? You're like, what's going to happen after that? And I just get to get all this information, and then I get to ask questions like, is this going to in any way affect the cinematic universe? Oh, it is. Oh, and then we just start going on off and off. And I think those are the moments. And like there've been, like there was a Dragon Ball session that I did where they had somebody from Toei Animation and like they Skyped him in with some other directors when they were directing the dub and all that kind of stuff. And that was another. Now, granted, I couldn't understand completely what he was saying, but they had a translator there who was kind of giving directions. And those are the moments for me that I'm just kind of like, this is so crazy. This is so cool because I get to like talk to these creators, talk to the writers in person. It doesn't happen all the time, but when it does happen, it is like. It's my favorite part, like because I get to just ask questions about the character and what their thoughts are, and if I'm delivering this line right, like it's just that's the part where I enjoy. I have the most fun.
Oh, that's so dope. I know I'd be fangirling out, wanting to know any and everything, and then it's like true because it's coming straight from the writers.
Exactly, straight from the writers, and I think a close second would be actually like. When you meet the people that you're working with, like a lot of these actors, these voice actors, like Johnny Young Bosch, who I am, he's like one of my heroes. I think we've been in 2 anime movies together. We've been in My Hero and then also Code Geass, and that was I ran into him and talked to him when we were doing the recordings for Code Geass and just kind of explained to him how like, he's amazing. I'm just sitting there like, dude, you're incredible. Like, I literally look up to you, man. Like, and he's just the most humble dude in the world. And, meeting all these other actors that are working on these games that you're fans of and that our colleagues, like, it's, it's incredible. It's funny because I did a show, one episode for DuckTales, the new season of DuckTales. And I got to meet like some of the casts on there, like some of the main characters on there. And I was just kind of like, how is it that I've been watching DuckTales my entire life, and now like I'm in like doing sessions for the show? Like, what? It's just crazy. And that's another geek out moment for sure. You can't hide those.
Oh, that's what's up. Have you ever had a chance to meet Phil Lamar at all, or is he maybe on your list of voice actors to meet?
No, I met him. No, I met him. It's funny. I met him in a session, but we were like, I was like, hey, Phil, and he was like, hey, real nice. We just kept walking because I didn't want to stop it. Like, we're at a studio, so like, if you're coming to the studio, you're coming to work. Like, you're not like these actors are coming to do their thing and then bounce or whatever. So you don't want to just go people down. But I met him again at one of the cons, and I was like, yo, and I just pretty much spilled my heart out to him and told him, like, you are my hero. Like, you literally are the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. One of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing, especially in the animation world of things. And we also found out in talking that we were represented by the same management. So I went to my manager and I was like, you didn't tell me you represent Phil? Like, what's wrong? Like, and he's like, oh yeah, he's one of our guys. You should tell me. I would have introduced him like at one of our parties or whatever. And I'm like, I'm over here like, oh, one day I'm gonna meet him and it's gonna be far, many years far away. And then I get to meet him, and I could have met him like, at dinner. Like, come on, man. I was pissed. Yeah, so we're represented by the same management in LA and New York. So if that's that's pretty dope. But yes, I have met him. My next person to meet is Cree Summers. She's the queen to me.
Yes.
People got the Beyonces, and I got Cree.
Yeah, Cree, she's the queen of Black voice actors.
Yeah, period.
Let me play devil's advocate here. Play devil's advocate. Putting two together. Let's put them up together. Phil Lamar or Keith David.
Oh my God! Why would you do that? Why would you do that?
Because that's me, man.
Because yeah.
So also, fun fact: Keith David and I are also represented. Like, we're actually all under the same management. So it's just so funny how you brought that up. Keith. Oh God.
You don't have to answer.
No.
That's terrible.
You're so mean, Venom.
That's not
man.
mean.
Okay.
It's like you got Spawn and Goliath versus John Stewart and Samurai Jack. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's a tough.
Oh man, I have to go just because his body of work is just so vast. Like, it's so vast, and I think it's made the most impact on me. I'd have to go with Phil Lamar. But as far as narration goes and the gravitas, Keith David, like, he is the voice, like him, James Earl Jones, Morgan Freeman, like those guys are what I get in my, as far as like narration copy, like when they ask for descriptions and sound alikes, they want Keith David all the time on my stuff, like on like descriptions and auditions and stuff. So, I envy his pipes and everything. But yeah, Phil Lamar, as far as like his influence on my life, yeah, Phil is definitely that guy. But that's such a hard. I mean, that's hard.
I mean, I'm here to ask the tough questions.
Yeah, he's here just to be tough. Well, I mean, I honestly feel like, Gabe, like, you're on the path to one day being compared to, these voice actors and the impact that you're having at the rate you're going. So I'm really just excited to see, like, what you have next and just the type of work you just continue to do. Like, it's in itself becoming vast. I feel like you'll have a lot to say for yourself as well.
Well, thank you so much. I honestly, I truly appreciate that. It's 3 years in the game is not a lot, but I think I just turned 26, so I feel like I have a lot more years to kind of get some shots at some of these roles and just kind of expand what I've done so far. And so I'm excited to see what lies ahead, you know. And it's also exciting to see more people of color like getting into it, like doing voiceover and doing these characters. I've got a buddy named Zeno Robinson who plays Hawks in My Hero, and you know, African American. Like, that's amazing. Like, it's incredible to see it. And he also plays young Cyborg in Justice, in Young Justice. So it's like seeing that. He encourages me. Danny Chambers, like those guys, those friends, contemporaries rather, like we're about the same age, and we're grinding it together, trying to make it happen. And it's fresh. I know we'll look back to 2020, you know, the coronavirus year, and think like, yo, like we did some stuff, like we made some things happen, we made some characters come to life, and so I'm really appreciative of your kind words. I'm sure I'm chasing after, you know, trying to make an impact somewhere.
Yeah, now you gotta live up to those words, because Rachel's gonna be looking out for you for everything.
I'll be like, Gabe's like, oh, that's Gabe's voice. Yes, I know that voice.
Cool. It keeps me accountable.
Do you have any advice for anybody that maybe want to get into voice acting? Because Rachel asked like, how do I get into voice acting? And I'm just like, heifer, I don't know. Quit asking me this question.
I'm like, tell me something. I think I can do it. Maybe.
Yeah. I would definitely, first of all, like voiceover acting is acting. Like, that's what it is. The only difference is that they're putting a mic in front of your face and hiding it. Like, it's just, that's the only difference. And so I always tell people, like, if your acting chops are not, like, you will be exposed, especially with anime, because you're having to match the lip flaps and also try to emote a certain emotion within like a few frames. Like, you know, it goes like so fast. And it is one of the hardest things that I've done as far as animation is concerned. I've done other animation like prelay and stuff that's done in the US, and it's been a little more free to kind of take a breath here, make this word really count. Even in video games, I'm able to kind of take my time. But in anime stuff, like, you've got to be on top of your game. If this person is mad and happy in the same clip, you got to be able to show that. And so that's what I think acting is very important. After that, if you got your acting game, whether you take improv or classes, I would say going next is actually making a voiceover demo. Making a demo or starting getting a voiceover coach to help you make that voiceover demo, where you're putting all the things that you can do, like whether it be commercial or video games, animation, like put it on one demo. And so let's see some range. Let's see what you can do. Can you bring characters to life? And don't do, mind you, and I tell this to everybody, don't do characters that have already been done. Like, a lot of people make the mistakes and want to do impressions. I'm like, don't do that, because somebody's already hired for that. Like, somebody is already Mickey Mouse. Oh boy. Somebody's already Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, don't go after that. Make your own character. Make it unique to you. And you never know. Somebody listens to that demo and be like, you know what? I really want to make that demo come to life. Like, I want to make that character come to life. But even if they don't, you're still showing a range of things that you can do. And so that's why I say put that in a demo. And at that point, if you think your demo's slamming, if you think your demo is top notch, send it to a few industry people, mind you. Don't send it to your parents, because your parents are going to tell you they sound great. Don't send it to, well, some of them will.
I'm just going to send it to Venom. He'll tell me.
Oh, well, he's going to tell you it's trash.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, don't send it to, like, you know, you send it to people who are actually working in the industry, and they'll give you honest critique as to, this is the problem, this is yada, 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 yada. You sound great here. I think you should submit. And then you make your submission to the agency, because sometimes you only get one chance with these folks. Like, there may be times where they'll hear it and say, you know what, come back in 6 months. If they tell you to come back in 6 months, okay, you have a chance. But if they say, we're not really looking for anybody right now, thank you, most likely they don't think you're good. And they don't want to hear you, period.
Yeah.
So, and that's hard to make that impression again. So make sure when you got that demo done, make sure you know that it's slamming before you submit it, because you can't take that back. So you submit it to an agent, you know, whether it be locally or in LA, New York. If you want to do animated series and stuff like that, and like the Disney stuff and the Nickelodeon stuff, you have to understand that, you know, a lot of that stuff is recorded in LA. So you're going to have to be out there. But if you just want to be kind of like, oh, I want to do anime, like anime is my most thing, you have to understand you have to be in Dallas. Like, there's a lot of Funimation and stuff in Dallas. There's also stuff in New York and LA as well. But, you know, the dubbing hub for the most part is, you know, Dallas and LA. So just, you know, keep that in mind when you're cultivating your career. And yeah, those are kind of the steps I would take. There's a lot of intricacies to it, but I don't want to bore you guys and all that. But yeah, it's kind of that's what I would recommend. And I would also say, your path is your own. Don't try to compare it to everybody else. How I got into the industry is going to be completely different from how you get into the industry. And, you may get it even easier. And now with the advent of like social, like these TikTok and all that kind of stuff, like people are getting their shine, and I would hop on that. Cause that's what I did when Instagram was like starting to pop. I was just using it as much as I could with video, and it started to really help my career in the sense of getting followers and stuff like that.
Okay.
And yeah, just build a little following.
All right. So y'all heard it here first. Gabe said I'll be a really good potential voice actor compared to Rachel.
I don't think that's what he said at all.
That's exactly what he said.
Okay, yeah.
I have a little bit more experience than you.
Okay. I'm more of I have a more outgoing extrovert personality, so I feel like I can bring things to life.
Okay. Did you know I used to be a waiter?
No, you don't tell me a lot of things.
Yeah, because you don't need to know a lot of things. I used to be a waiter, so a lot of people thought I was mean, but then they'll see me wait tables. They're like, "How are you getting such big tips?" I'm like, "Oh, I just act like I'm nice."
Like, so you have great acting skills.
Yeah, you just,
I guess,
just give them more bread, because I'm at Old Charlie's. Just give them more bread, and and keep the drinks filled, and you're gonna get like $50 tips.
I'm just natural.
Man, bring that to the studio, dude. You will get rolled out the wazoo. No pun intended.
That's what's up. Well, Gabe, how can people find you on social media if they want to check you out?
You can find me. Yeah. You can find me on Instagram at Gabe, Gabe, Kunda, Kunda, and same thing for Twitter, same thing for Facebook. I'm all on there, and also I think TikTok as well. It's funny, I just posted a TikTok, and I was like, I don't know what this is gonna do, and then I've just gotten a lot of responses from it. I'm like, wait, TikTok is actually a thing, and so yeah, I'm on there too, the same name.
Oh, cool. Well, Gabe, on behalf of the Geeked Up duo, myself and Venom, we can't thank you enough for hanging out and talking with us this afternoon and giving us some insightful tips and just telling us about your overall geek experience and what it's like to be a voice actor. I'm very excited, like I said, to see what you have in store. Where are you going to go with this?
I'll be in Dallas soon, hopefully. I was supposed to be doing like Motown Mondays with a friend of mine because I DJ. So hopefully I'll hit you up and
hit me up. You may be able to go out and get some barbecue if you're not vegan or anything like that.
No, we not.
Okay, cool.
I want to come. Cool. I got family in Dallas.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, I can come visit, hang out. Maybe go be like Funimation Studios. Like, hey, is Gabe here? What's up?
Make a little tour. Yeah, we may be able to set something up. But yeah, no, I appreciate you guys as well. Like the moment I met you, Rachel, I was like, oh yeah, I would love to help out in any podcast I can, and whatever. Hopefully it helps in any way. But it's been a blast. Thank you guys for having me on, and we're going to continue staying connected, friends.
Definitely. Thank you. We definitely appreciate your support. It's very genuine and everything. Like, you have no idea. We really do appreciate it. And I have definitely enjoyed myself. How about you, Ben?
I'm just trying to stay sanitized.
He's about to put his face mask back on.
I'm going to put my face mask back on.
Good. Well, Gabe, you continue to be safe and sanitized out there. And until next time, we definitely won't be strangers. You'll be hearing from us.
Oh, no, absolutely. We'll see each other on the interwebs.
Right. You have a good one.
Thank you.
Okay, you got it.
I want to thank everybody for listening to us. This podcast is officially sponsored by DTA Studios. Don't tell anybody or we will stab you.
And Mississippi Party Bus.
Mississippi Party Bus. Mississippi's premier party bus.
Yes, we are kind of on a little short hiatus.
Everybody's on hiatus, but we're still sponsoring Offbeat. You can find all our stuff online. Go to offbeatjxn.com to make purchases, orders. We will be shipping out orders until the state goes on lockdown, which looks like never because Tate Reeves is a dumbass.
Yeah, what Venom said. So aggressive, but
I mean, it's true.
I mean, look, folks are still not. I don't know why folks aren't taking this in the sense of like, I don't know, more serious and stop fucking around. But whatever. But like you said, we had a dope interview with Gabe, and shout out to all our sponsors and our supporters. Please go like, share, and subscribe on our Patreon YouTube page. And you can check me out at Gamma Ray Cosplay. Will not be attending any cons in the near future due to this coronavirus, but stay tuned to my page for cosplay updates because I can't go nowhere, but I plan to make a lot of cosplays.
All right. Right, that's it.
Until
next time, I'll be on the Xbox. No, I'll be on the PlayStation because I don't own an Xbox.
Bye.